Hey guys, this is Donya with the Roundcast County Coffee Break, and today we are talking to Judge Travis Ransom. But first, I want to thank my sponsors. That's Fire and Knives in Linden, Domino Federal Credit Union, CNB Bank, and Texarkana Contractors. Again, I just want to introduce you to Travis Ransom today. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a fifth generation Cass County resident, lifelong Atlanta, Texas resident, and graduated high school from Atlanta High School and then went on to Texarkana College and then Texas A&M Texarkana, but joined the Army right out of high school and have spent 28 years in the Army Reserve and currently still serving as a Brigade Command Sergeant Major in the Army Reserve. Was mayor of the city of Atlanta for about 5 years. And before that, I worked for our state senator as a legislative staffer, working in the Texas legislature. So I've gotten to see the government from a federal level with my Army, and I've gotten to see with my Army service, and then I've gotten to see the government at a local level as a mayor and now county judge, and then at the state level as a legislative staffer. So it's anyway, that's kind of my passion, I guess. I don't know. It's what I enjoy doing. Anyway, that's a little bit about me.
Well, and you do a really great job. And first of all, thank
it.
you for your service.
Appreciate it.
That's number one to me. So what inspired you to pursue a career in law, ultimately to become a judge? Actually, you're not a lawyer, though,
I'm
are
not
you?
a lawyer. So in Texas, county judges are constitutionally created by our Texas Constitution, and you're not required to be an attorney. You just have to have special training in the law in order to do some of the judicial responsibilities. So the county judge in Texas truly is in all three branches of government at once. So it's a unique position in the nation that way. There's 254 counties, and we're one of 254. I'm one of 254, and you have judicial responsibilities like I do probate court, I do guardianships, mental health commitments, and misdemeanor criminal court.
Okay.
But I don't handle speeding tickets or things like that. The justice of the peace handle those. And they're called judges, but they're not attorneys either.
See, I had
Yeah.
always thought that a judge had to be a lawyer. And doing my research for this interview today, I was like, he's not a lawyer.
No, and
I had
I'm
never
not.
really thought
Yeah,
about
and
that.
I'm not a lawyer. No, it's and so your main responsibilities as a county judge is you're the chief financial officer or the chief executive officer of the county. So I execute all the contracts, I sign all the contracts, negotiate all the contracts, and so I am the administrator for the county. So as the executor, I'm kind of the executive branch. My judicial responsibilities are obviously judicial branch, and then I'm a voting member of the commissioners court. So as we pass policies that are on behalf of the county and the county government, as the presiding officer of the commissioners court, I'm legislating. And so it's really a unique position.
Yeah, it really is. So what made you get into this?
Well, I grew up here, and like everybody else, the first thing I wanted to do was leave.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
The first thing I wanted to do is get out of
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
and I didn't recognize the benefits of growing up in small town USA.
Right.
And as an adult, going out and seeing the world, my first deployment to the Balkans, during the Balkan conflict where Yugoslavia was breaking up, and you saw little small communities like Atlanta, Texas, completely, war torn and buildings shot up. And, we take for granted so much in our country, whether it's clean drinking water that comes out when you turn the tap on, or the lights that come on when you turn the switch on, and law enforcement that shows up when you call 911. Those are things that we take for granted in America that aren't necessarily guaranteed in other parts of the world. And so as serving overseas, it really turned me on to how valuable the infrastructure is to establishing a good, sound place to live and raise a family. And so when I came back, I knew that I wanted to be a part of something bigger than just me. And this was an opportunity to continue to serve my community. So I started volunteering with civic clubs and volunteering on the library board and organizations like the Lions Club. And it just kind of grew from there. And essentially, I just wanted to be a part of the change to make the city, or to make the county, my local community, a better place to live and raise a family, because that's where I chose to live and raise my family.
Well, and what's really cool about you is you are into everything,
Oh, man.
right? I mean, people see you, they know who you are. You make yourself known. You're a great citizen. Your family has a great reputation.
I appreciate it. You flatter me, but people say, well, you got a lot of irons in the fire, and I do,
I do
but
too.
I have a big bonfire. It's like the A&M bonfire. Okay. It's a big fire, and it
That's
burns
right.
bright.
That's
So
all. I'm a little bit the same way.
Yeah.
I wear many hats.
Yeah,
But you have to make a decision,
you
to make
have
a
to.
change. You have to just jump out there and do it, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so what do you feel one of the biggest challenges facing Cass County is today?
So I think this challenge that's facing that it the biggest challenge facing, I think, all communities right now is communication.
Yeah.
And that's why organizations like yours are so important. So around Cass County gives people an idea of community, that gives them an idea of what's going on in their community. Local journalism is really struggling. And I think that is communicating, like it's valuable to me to communicate. So Facebook, I can't stand Facebook. I'm sorry, but I can't, but I can't stand Twitter or X or any of the social media
Right.
stuff. It's so full of garbage. And so my hope is, I use the Rotary Club. I'm not a Rotarian, I'm a Lion, but I love the Rotary Club's 4-way test of the things they say and do. And that is, number one, is it the truth? Number two, does it build goodwill and better friendship? Is it helpful for all concerned, and is it beneficial for all concerned? I think that's what it is. Or is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendship? And is it beneficial to all concerned? I think I got that right somewhere in there.
They'll let you know, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. So the 4-way test, I try to do that before I post on social media. But you asked, what's the biggest challenge? Communication. If people don't have a real good understanding of our government, it's impossible for them to know how to vote, and voting's not enough. Democracy doesn't work. You have to work it. We have a participatory form of democracy, but people take for granted so much that they don't participate.
Right.
Participation means more than just going to the polls. You have to be an educated voter, which means that you have to get information. And without local journalism to give them that information, then it becomes really tough. So I'm real proud of the work we've done at the county. I do a weekly newsletter.
Yep.
I do occasional live streams. I did one yesterday. I try to, keep people informed. I'm on the radio station as much as I can be, like once a week, when I'm in town. And I also, send out, constant social media posts to try to keep people informed, because I want them to know what's going on in
They
their
should know
community.
what's going
Yeah,
on.
absolutely. And they should want to know. And so I apologize for the spam in everyone's inbox, but
No.
I want you to know what's going on in your community, because sadly, that's a difficult thing. If you're sitting around and you're just watching cable news, and I don't care what it is, if it's Fox News or CNN or MSNBC or whatever, One America News Network, you're not going to see anything local. And if you're just watching the local television, like the NBC, ABC, CBS, you're not going to see much local. You're going to see
Right.
Shreveport. You might see Little Rock, Texarkana. You're not going to see Atlanta, Texas. So to get local information is really challenging. And so that's
is.
the challenge. So as a local government person, that's been one of my focuses, is to try to get more communication out there, and to just be completely transparent, because nothing we do is secret in the county government. Okay.
Absolutely.
And it is, my books are your books. And so everything's wide open. We've been really blessed. We've gotten 2 transparency stars from the state comptroller's office.
That's
We're
great.
one of only 15 counties in the state who have received 2 transparency stars. So I'm proud of our record. I think we're doing an okay job at that. And I'll keep trying to be innovative and trying to do more.
Well, I know, let me tell you, yesterday,
Mhm.
I think it was yesterday, maybe the day before, my mother was going through the paper
Mhm.
and it had all the listings of the things that were fixing to be voted on.
Yes, the propositions.
Right.
Yeah,
And so
coming out
a
in
lot of
November.
times, and you know this better than anybody, the wordage most people don't
It's
understand.
very challenging.
It's very challenging, especially for our older people and even for me or younger. I mean, to be honest with you. And so my mother was going through each one, looking at it, looking it up, seeing yes or no, so she wouldn't be stressed over it. And I don't think that happens enough.
Mhm.
We have to understand what we're voting on,
Yeah.
and you need to do your research to get it done.
Absolutely. And, as a judge, part of the judicial canons is not to endorse candidates and not to take a position on a lot of those things. However, I do go to a lot of meetings, and we talk about those kinds of things to educate and just to inform. And the Secretary of State's office, they have a great website. All the information is out there on the website. So it just takes some quiet time, honestly, to just view. And I like to print it because I like tangible.
Right.
I'm old enough. I
Yep.
like to just have it in my hand where I can make notes
Feel
in the
it.
margin.
Yep.
And so having that, the Secretary of State's website, great website. It's
Do
got
you
all the
know that
information.
website right off?
I don't off the top of my
Okay.
head, but if you
He'll
Google
get that to me, and
yeah.
I'll put it at the end of the
Absolutely.
video later.
Texas Secretary of State's website. My newsletter last week on Friday had the links built into the newsletter where you could just click on it and it would open
Perfect.
back up.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So what has been one of the most rewarding cases or experiences as a judge that you've had?
Well, so selfishly, I'll tell you the one of the neatest moments I had. So I do misdemeanor court.
Right.
and there's always some moment of gravity in misdemeanor court. I don't know. It's just like God's way of telling me, keep doing this. You're in the right spot. I had a young man that was in my court. He was there for possession of marijuana and unlawful possession of a firearm. And by the way, don't break the law while you're breaking the law because it just compounds. Okay.
Right.
So if you're going to buy weed, don't have a firearm with you
Right.
because then it's unlawful possession of a firearm because you've got a firearm while you're committing a crime. So anyway, but I called it the number 3 combo. It's like a quarter pounder with cheese, you know?
You
So
got them all.
he's there and he's a young man, looked like he was in good shape. And I said, it was his first offense. And the district attorney was offering him a plea deal, and it was deferred adjudication, which means if you follow the terms of the plea deal after the term of the plea, after the term of probation, it wouldn't end up on your record.
Okay,
It's
gotcha.
not a
Yeah.
conviction as
Yeah.
long as you cooperate to graduate kind of
Right.
deal,
There you go. Yep.
And I asked him, I always ask the same questions. Can you read and write? Do you have a job? Do you have a GED or a high school diploma? And then he had a job for the last 3 or 4 years, steady job. And he had a high school diploma and he was like 21 or 22, 3 years old, young guy. And so I said, there's a job that'll pay you to carry a firearm all over the world. It's called the United States Army. And if you want a future, you need to consider what you're doing in a job for 4 years, working in basically a dead end job. And I said, so I wrote down on a Post-it note, if you want a future, call this number. And I put my office number on there. And I handed it to the bailiff, and the bailiff gave it to him. I said, I'm going to sign off on this probation. And, but if you want a future, call that number because all this can go away. Because I have the power to dismiss that if that kid wants to join the Army,
Right.
because that would be an impediment to him joining the military. So I didn't expect I would hear from him. He called me before lunch. I mean, that was that morning. He called me that morning, left a message at the office. So I called the school and I said, can you confirm this kid went to school here, graduated? Was he a problem? Any of that? No, he was fine. He graduated middle of his class, good kid, ran track, whatever. Okay. So, call the kid back, talk to him, talk to a recruiter, get him connected. That kid is in the United States Army, active duty right now, changed the trajectory of his life because he was just wanting to be a little gangster,
Yep.
because he had nothing to do and all day to do it,
Bored.
work bored and just getting into trouble. And instead, now he's on active duty. He's got benefits. He's got a retirement. He's got a way to take care of his family. That changed that kid's life. And we have a lot of that in the military. And I'll say the military is not for everybody. It's for high performers and those who want to be high performers. And, I can't take just one type. You need people from all walks of life in the military. And we've got a lot who are what I would call are immigrants to the middle class. They've never had a direct deposit. They've never had a regular paycheck. They've never had regular health insurance. And the military is a great way for those kids to get an education and do better and make the next generation of their family break that cycle of poverty. And that's
love
where this
that.
kid is. So it was that's probably the most rewarding single thing I've gotten to do in court.
Yeah. And the really cool thing about that is you gave him the opportunity first.
Yeah.
And 2, he had to make the commitment to
He took it.
that responsibility.
He took it.
That's awesome.
He was there, and his grandmother was in court with him. And anyway, it was a great moment. I was really happy. I've made that pitch to a couple of others, but that's the one that hooked. And
I
caught.
love that.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay. How do you balance the responsibility of the law versus your personal compassion?
Well, the law is the law. The law is black and white, and so there's the law is black and white. And as far as personal compassion, like let's say if I was of the opinion that that shouldn't be legal or that should be legal, like that doesn't matter. Like the law is the law.
Right.
And so I don't know that there has to be a balance there.
I think the balance is just like you did before. You were still making that young man follow the law, but your heart gave him an opportunity.
Well, yeah, no, that's true.
So
you have so a lot of the law is set like it is illegal to do this. Okay, you have been charged with this. You are pleading guilty or whatever.
Right.
Okay, there's a lot of the scale on the punishment side of the house, and that's where a judge can use judgment to apply the law based on that scale. And that scale is usually determined. There's some left and right limits, to that.
Sure.
And so you follow that.
Yeah.
The law can also get in the way. It's sometimes, you get frustrated with it because Some folks will say, well, why do I have to have an attorney, to probate this will, and it's like, well, you don't know what you don't know. And sometimes, and the state is very specific about the way that it distributes estates. So if you don't have a will and you're coming to probate someone's estate, but you don't have a will, the state dictates how that is split up among the heirs. And you're telling me, well, you're the only heir. That may be true, but I don't know that to be true until I have what's called an ad litem attorney, which I have to appoint to represent the unknown heirs. And that person then reports to the judge and says, I can confirm this guy has no unknown heirs,
Right.
because you don't ever, you have to apply the law. So there's sometimes where it can get complicated.
Red tape.
There's a lot of red tape, but it's fair. It
Right.
has to be fair.
Yeah. Because you can't just take someone's word
No,
for it. For
you
sure.
cannot. Yeah.
Okay. So Cass County is a pretty close-knit community.
I agree. Yeah.
What do you think makes Cass County special?
Well, we're off interstate. For now, anyway, we're off interstate. And I would say that because I have some unique experience, and you have unique experience traveling the nation as an over the world trucker, or whatever you call
There
it.
you go.
What do you
I feel
call
like
it?
it.
I feel like over the world,
Over the
over the road trucker. So, if you go to Applebee's in Texarkana, or you go to Chili's or Olive Garden, or you go to Best Buy or I don't know, Lowe's, Home Depot, all the box stores.
Yep.
They're all the same.
Yep.
Whether you go in Dallas, Texas, Fort Worth, Texas, Atlanta, Texas, or whether you go to North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, Orlando, doesn't matter.
Yep.
The consistency is the same everywhere you go.
Yep.
They've smoothed out all the unique wrinkles of our land, those interstates, and they've made these big, bland box stores. And the unique thing about small town USA off interstate is that it's full of places like Cafe Crema, right?
Right.
Like local places like Jack's Fine Foods, like the Wildflower Inn in Hughes
Yes.
Springs. It's full of unique things that are mom and pop stores, that are mom and pop restaurants and groceries and places that are local. And that's what makes Cass County special. And that makes what every community special. But anyway, so I think that there's value in that.
Yeah.
Especially post-COVID, where we saw chaos in the urban areas where there's such anonymity. Here, we saw community coming together, helping one another, encouraging one another, and I think there's value in being someone that is a part of this community rather than being just another face in the crowd.
Absolutely. I agree
Yeah.
with that. I know when I was truck driving, I could go to one Love's
Mhm.
and the next, I went to so many Love's.
They
I
all
could
run
literally-
together.
Yeah, I could literally close my eyes and get myself to the bathroom because I knew exactly how it was
Yeah.
set up, where the drinks were, where the hot dogs were, where the eggs were. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
everything, and,
Oh yeah.
and it makes it really special when we do have places like Cafe Crema that have the mom and pop feel, and that's very hard to find on the interstate.
It is. It's
Yeah.
hard to find on the interstate. And so you get off the interstate and you experience the greatness of America. It's still out there. And that was part of my lesson of Route 66. When I did that in 2018, drove from Chicago to LA on the old road wherever possible. It parallels Interstate 40, but it's also concurrent with the Interstate 40 during
Right.
so part of it you have no choice. But we went through every little ghost town we could, every little small town we could, and tried to experience America. And it's still out there. You just
It
have to
is.
really slow down and look for it
That's exactly
and
right.
soak it up.
You have to breathe it in, breathe
Yeah.
it in. Okay, if someone wants to be in community service, what's some advice that you would want to give them?
It takes three types of people for any successful initiative. You have to have someone to open the door, someone to pay for the door, and someone to build the door. And so if you are older and you want to serve your community, but you can't physically do it, open your wallet and contribute to a worthwhile cause. You're paying for the door for someone who doesn't have the money, but has maybe the time to commit to build the door. They can put in sweat equity if they can't afford to pay for the door.
Right.
And then we need everyone in our community, meaning all walks of life, every race, every gender, to every belief system, to be participatory so that their views are represented, so that we are opening the door to the entire community. Because if you've got a board or a council that doesn't look like your community, then you're underrepresented on that board or on that council, whether it's
Right.
a city council, a school board, a nonprofit association, a fundraising arm of some organization, whatever. It doesn't matter. It needs to look like the community, and that's build the door, pay for the door, open the door. And if you're serving in one of those positions that is on a board or on a volunteer, and you're not doing one of those three things, what are you doing there? Like, do a little self-assessment, because if you go, like I walked into a room one time, I was appointed to a board, fundraising board, and I knew everybody in the room already. We all went to the same 2 churches, and I said, "I don't need to be here. I don't have money to pay for the door. I'm not wealthy. I don't have time to build the door. I'm really busy." And so I know all the same people you know because we all go to church together. We all know the same people. So I'm not opening the door to any new audiences. So I am of no value to this board. I will resign. Please appoint someone else who is from a different sphere in the community to serve.
I love that.
You know, that's,
Yeah.
and so do a little, and if you're serving on a board right now and you don't do one of those 3 things, then what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, do a little self-assessment, and if you, you know, and figure out, and you can do, and you can shift, you know, over time. I've been the guy who built the door. When I had more time, I volunteered all the time. I put a lot of sweat equity into a lot of organizations. Now I have less time. I'm an open the door guy. You know, hopefully one day I'll be a wealthy old man and I'll be able to write
Write
a
the
check. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think you'll make it for sure. Okay. Outside of the courtroom, what are some hobbies that you enjoy? I know travel is one of them. Me and you have a lot of that in
Oh
common,
yeah,
but what
yeah.
else?
Oh, travel. I love to experience things. You know, I'm an Eagle Scout. My son is an Eagle Scout. I've loved to backpack and hike. I don't do that very often now. But I love to do, you know, visit national parks with my wife and family. I love to go to car races. I go to the Indy 500 every year.
Okay.
It was one of those things that was on my bucket list, and I went once, and I thought that's not enough. I've got to go again, you know, and I thought, why not go every year? And
There you
so
go.
I try to go to the Indy 500 every year. That's my one, and then I do one more, whether that is some other automotive event. And last year it was the Pikes Peak Hill Climb, which is the second oldest automotive race in the nation. So
Never even heard of
the
it.
Indy 500 is the oldest. The Pikes Peak Hill Climb in Colorado Springs, Colorado, is the second oldest. It's been over 100 years. They've been racing up a public road up Pikes Peak in Colorado
Oh,
Springs.
wow.
It is amazing. And
Yeah.
so every year I try to do something automotive related because I'm a car guy, but I never have enough time or money to build what I want to build and run. But I really enjoy the car culture, and I love going and seeing great racing. And so the Daytona 500 is one that we've been to and missed because it got rained out. So I can't scratch that one off the list. I got to go again.
Right.
And the Bonneville Salt Flats out in Utah. It's like being on the moon.
It is. Is that not cool?
It's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
And I wish I could go every year because Speed Week every year is so awesome up there. But it's a 2-day drive one way to get there. And I just can't get there. If I could fly, maybe, but so I haven't cracked the code on that. I've only been once, and then I really want to go back.
Yeah,
So
totally,
yeah.
totally cool. All right, who has been your role model or your mentor during all these years?
Oh man. So it changes all the time. I don't have just one. I've had great leaders in the military who have helped me out. I think growing up, my father, of course, was probably the biggest influence on my life. He was a Army reservist. Also, he was a municipal judge here in Atlanta, and he was an attorney, not like not me, not just I just stayed at a Holiday Inn Express. And so my father probably the biggest influence. Besides him, his good friend Jerry O'Rear, who you
Yep.
probably know,
Oh, yeah.
and Jerry was an NCO, non-commissioned officer. So those two were like having a first sergeant and a company commander growing up, you know,
Yeah.
or a battalion CSM, command sergeant major, and a battalion commander. So those were two. Gordon Pines, another great military guy, did
Yeah.
very similar work to what I do in the military. And then, of course, he was my coach and history teacher. Pat Tomberlane, also another great Army intelligence guy who was a history teacher in Atlanta. So those teachers, you know, during that phase of life, but post then, um, I had a really wonderful commander who was my det commander when I joined the Army, and he's still in, just like I am. He's still in today, and so
Wow.
he's a 2-star general now, and I'm a command sergeant major, and he was a lieutenant, and I was a young private when
That
we
is so
first
cool.
got in, and so we've had this trajectory, and we're both kind of at the top now, and it's really neat to stay in touch with some of those guys. And then, you know, sometimes you get some of these little nuggets that are just great advice you can lean on forever. um, Joel Steger, who works with me at Offenhauser, full of those little bits of wisdom, you know. And so Joel has been a great mentor to me. So it's been a mix. It's not been just one
Just one.
individual.
Wow.
It has been a lot of individuals.
Right.
Yeah, and you know, if you're looking for a mentor in the community, First thing I would say is read some biographies of people that you look up to or that you feel like you might relate to, and you might find that you don't. You might find that, you know what, Douglas MacArthur was a pretty popular general, but once you read about him, you might go, well, that's not really my guy.
Yeah.
Or you might read about Patton and go, oh, that's definitely my guy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But you need to know, like Abraham Lincoln, some really good takeaways. And you read those biographies, Teddy Roosevelt, some of these great biographies will give you little nuggets of wisdom, and you can learn from some of those great people of our past. That's another way to get some mentorship without having a physical mentor, or to learn enough to know kind of what direction you might need to go. Yeah.
Yeah. I wish you were just sitting here talking and it just kind of crossed my mind. I wish some of our churches, and maybe I'm missing it somewhere, but had mentors for smaller or younger people.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they do that or not, but that would be something interesting to think about.
Well, it's a contact sport. So I'm blessed. I have I have a what do you call it in the sports? I'm not a football guy. So
Yeah.
you have a utility players, right? A
Yeah.
utility player is that guy you could put in a multiple positions.
Yeah.
Max Frugier, great utility player for me personally. Okay.
Yeah.
He's a friend of mine. He's my neighbor. I live down the street from him. So he's a great neighbor. And he's my personal care provider. He's my doctor.
Right.
He's also my Sunday school teacher.
Right.
So you talk about a utility player. I don't know what I'd do without Max Frugier. Like, that guy's got 4 different hats he's wearing just in my life. And I can't imagine what he's doing in the community. He's doing all kinds of stuff. So he's a great one. But it's a contact sport. Mentorship is so important. And churches can do that. Deacons in your church, Sunday school teachers, youth leaders, parents of other kids. I saw my dad mentor some of my buddies who didn't have fathers. And that was, the scout program was part of that, where you like, I need a good, positive male role model. The scout program is wonderful for that. So there's a lot of opportunities for mentorship. And I would encourage, men who are out there in our community, like, be a mentor for other kids. Be vulnerable enough to open up and share your success and share your share your failures.
Yeah, exactly.
You learn a lot more from your failures than you do your success.
And the women can do that for the young ladies as well. And the Bible even talks about that the older need to teach the younger.
You're absolutely right. Here's a great example. So Moses, great leader, right? He led a really great leader. led all these people in the desert, right? We joke about Moses in the military. We said Moses failed land navigation, because that dude wandered in the desert for 40 years. But he was a great leader because everybody kept following, right? So all right. So we're talking Moses, right? So Moses is like frustrated, man. He's dealing with everybody's stuff.
Yeah.
Everybody's bringing him all their problems.
Yeah.
All right. Moses is being the judge, jury, executioner on everything.
Yeah.
And his father-in-law comes with his wife and family or whatever, and he had a great relationship with his father-in-law. I can't remember his father-in-law's name. I want to say it was like, I don't know, it wasn't Rufus, but it was some name. I can't remember his father-in-law's. It's in Exodus. So anyway, you read Exodus, you'll find out. Moses' father-in-law comes, and Moses' father-in-law tells him, he's like, dude, you don't need to be worried. I'm paraphrasing. I ain't no the Lord called me to preach. He called me right back, said he had the wrong number. Okay. So I'm paraphrasing, but he said, dude, you don't need to be worried about all this little stuff. You need to appoint men of good character to be the judge over the small things, and then you deal with the big things they bring to you.
Right.
And so that was the start of basically our mentorship and our judicial system. If you think about, you have justice of the peace deal with smaller things, and then the county judge might deal with the next big thing, and then the district judge might deal with the next big thing, and then you have the Court of Appeals and the Supreme Court. So you have this system of government set up in Exodus with Moses' father-in-law giving him advice on, man, you're burning the candle at both ends, brother. You're gonna wear out. You need to appoint good men of character, and he says that. But I thought, man, what a great story, because not only was Moses this amazing leader, but here's his father-in-law coming in and giving him advice that he listened to and heeded that advice, and it's worked for generations
to come.
Yeah.
All right. So right now you're a judge.
You were going to get a Bible study.
I actually kind of figured I would. You're a good guy. You're a good Christian guy. Okay. You are a judge right now.
Yes.
If you were not a judge, what would you want to be?
It's hard to say. Sometimes I love music. It'd be great to be a rock star. I think they have a pretty good life. They get to travel all the time. I think it'd be good to be a race car driver. That's a lot of fun.
That would be a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
yeah. I don't know, race car driver. Maybe an automotive journalist. Okay, I could probably do that.
You know what? Yeah, you'd be good at that.
And my wife and I have joked about, or not really joked, but kind of thought, in retirement, it might be fun to be a cruise ship director. You get to travel, get to meet new people all the time. So I don't know, maybe a future there.
Truck driver.
I know, I know. Why not take a stint as a
Hey,
truck driver?
get rid of the house, get rid of the car, and
Yeah,
just live and go.
live and go. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to jump out of the judge area.
Okay.
I'm going to talk a little bit privacy here. Not really privacy, but in Atlanta, Texas,
Mhm.
or not even in Atlanta, Texas, what is your go-to meal? What's your favorite meal or restaurant?
Oh man. So I eat at Luigi's so much that I feel like that's my second kitchen. Artie and Tony take such good care of me, and I like, gosh, I used to just go in there and jokingly I would order the chalupa,
Mhm.
and they knew that just meant bring me anything, because I like to just change it
Try
up all the
things.
time.
Mhm.
Yeah, and obviously they don't serve a chalupa at the Italian restaurant.
Right. But
I
they know what to bring you.
They knew, yeah, they knew. They just bring me. So I love their steak and vegetables at Luigi's. That's always a good.
I've
Always
never
a
tried their
Their
stuff there.
steak is awesome. Yeah,
Okay,
it's
I'll have
really
to try
good.
that.
Yeah, and that's not something normal that you would think
Yeah.
about at an Italian restaurant, but they have a great steak. And then I like what is it, Uncle Juan? I can't remember which
Uncle Juan.
Juan it is, but
Yeah.
if it's Uncle or Amigo, but I think it's Uncle. It's downtown, right?
Downtown, yeah.
Okay, so Uncle Juan's. I think it's the Guadalajara, maybe, or the Pancho Villa at Amigo Juan's, which is basically a
We got some great restaurants.
a couple enchiladas and a taco. I love Mexican food. I would eat it every day if my
Me
heart
too.
could take it.
Me too.
Yeah, so that's probably go-to.
The only
Those are
thing
my
we don't
go-tos.
have in town, we need seafood.
We don't have sushi. If you want sushi though, Crump's over in Linden has sushi,
Okay.
and they make it fresh daily, and it's good.
It's
Yeah,
good.
it's real good.
I
Yeah,
have to try
it's
that
not that
out.
truck stop sushi. It's good.
Yeah,
It's
so I wouldn't recommend that very
no,
much.
no.
Okay, what is something that most people don't know about you?
Oh man, I feel like everybody knows everything about me at this point. Um, I something that most people don't know about me. I think people who don't know me probably, I mean, they know maybe I'm a car guy, but they may not know that, like I really work on cars. Like I do my own brakes. I do my own oil changes a lot. If I have time, I'd prefer to do it myself because I enjoy doing it. And so sometimes, like the guys at O'Reilly's probably have no idea that I'm the county judge. Like I'm in there all the time buying parts or fuel filters or oil filters or whatever. They just think I'm, Joe Redneck doing his weekend warrior stuff.
You don't mind getting your hands dirty?
No, I love it, and so I think maybe that's something that would
Yeah, I
surprise
wouldn't have known
people.
that.
Yeah, I just I'll be filthy on a weekend, and my dad was the same way. He did all his own work, and that's where I learned it. It was just working with him on the weekends on working on old cars. I drive a 20-something-year-old truck, so it takes maintenance, and but I'd rather do that than I would pay for a new vehicle.
Wouldn't anybody, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, we're fixing to wrap it up here. Is there anything else that you want to tell our audience today?
Oh man. So um I want you to be proud of the place that you live and call home. And part of that is just a shift in mentality.
Right.
We complain so much in our society that, I mean, complaining about the weather is one thing, but complaining about the government has become a second pastime for people.
Right.
And I would say that it's your own fault, because it's our government. It's for, by the people,
Right.
right? And so we do it to ourselves by not staying informed, by not participating, by not educating ourselves,
Being
and
complacent.
being complacent. And I would say, we've all been to a T-ball game, and I'll use this analogy a lot. Been to a T-ball game, seen a kid knock the ball off the tee and run to third base. It's not the way it works. The kid thinks he's doing great. That's not the way the rules of baseball work.
Right.
The same is true with our government. If you don't understand the rules, the game can be very frustrating. And so the rules are not secret. Educate yourself. Our civics education in this nation are are not
Lacking.
great.
Yeah.
Are lacking. And if you don't have a functional knowledge of the society and the government that we have that is built for you, but it requires your participation. Teddy Roosevelt said it best: democracy doesn't work, you have to work it. And so I think that's my goal, is to just empower people by telling them, hey, it's up to you. No one's coming to save you, it's up to you.
Yeah.
No, no one's coming with a truck full of money to save our small towns. It's up to us, the
It
ones
is.
who live here and who are invested here and want us to succeed. But yeah, but you have a lot to be proud of. Cass
Absolutely.
County has a tremendous heritage, and I say this all the time. We have a rich heritage and a bright future, and I believe it. Part of the new Pioneer Profile series that we're doing in the newsletter, which are being published every week, are by
That comes out every Wednesday in the paper?
yeah, it comes out in the paper
Okay.
every Wednesday, but it's in my newsletter every Friday.
Okay.
And Misty Golden is a not from here, but she's a resident of Cass County now. She's a grad student in history in the history program at Texas A&M Texarkana, and so she interned with me for 2 semesters, and I got her to work some historical projects, and I did some assessment on her with her professor. And so one of the projects was there are a lot of really amazing people who have a connection to Cass County. Find them, write up a short biographical sketch on them, and I want to put them in the newsletter to inform people because a lot of folks don't even know who Bessie Coleman is,
Right.
and they
Yeah.
should. They don't know
Absolutely.
who T-Bone Walker was. They don't know who, who Nat Stuckey is this week, or Ed Rabb, the story of the rabbits. I mean, there's so many wonderful stories out there of people. McNoble Harper Park, an educator from our community. There are so many wonderful people that have passed through or have a connection to Cass County. There's a lot to be proud of. And a
Absolutely.
lot of people should see themselves in those characters and go, you know what? If he's from Cass County, I can do that too.
Yeah.
And so that's part of the thought process behind that. And I'm excited about that project. It's really neat.
I think it's a great idea. You were talking about, I think you had a Facebook Live or something that was going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. Yesterday I was
And
talking about it. Yeah.
I was looking at it and it was like, you know what, that's a great thing because there are so many that have passed through here. And I mean, even to this day, we still have some young people,
Mhm.
that are our ages
Yeah.
that have done amazing things,
They have.
actors and that kind of thing.
Oh,
So
for
Linda
sure.
Rowe, for example,
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
brilliant,
Absolutely.
and so
Absolutely.
I'm really proud of that as well.
Yeah.
So Travis, I want to thank you for
No,
coming
thanks
today.
for having me. Enjoyed
Thoroughly
it. Always
enjoyed it.
enjoyed it. Always a
Yeah,
good time.
absolutely.
Thank
You
you. Thanks
guys have
again.
a great day and we'll talk to you soon.
See you soon.
Bye.